Hey, Jamie Maloney here. It's currently day 8 of my 2019 28-day fast. Feeling pretty good, no issues other than just boredom and the bad taste in my mouth. I talked about that last year. That's really, in my opinion, the biggest complaint that I have with doing an extended fast. I define extended fast as 3 days or greater, and typically I don't notice this until after about day 4 and 5 is where I really start to notice it. But it's people call it keto breath, but when you're fasting, you really notice because when your body's in a state of ketosis, one of the products that the body is breaking down, or I should say, when the ketones are broken down, one of the products that is produced is acetone, and that comes off through your breath, and so that's the taste that builds up in the mouth. It's just a thick. It's like morning breath all day long, and brushing and rinsing. It comes right back. And so dealing with that all day is probably the biggest complaint because it makes you want to eat something or drink something just to get that taste out of your mouth. And I've never found a good way to deal with that that doesn't involve introducing some type of gum or something like that, some calorie or some artificial sweetener, which I don't want to do. I don't have a problem with people using no calorie sweeteners, things like that on a fast, but when I do the 28-day fast, I try to abstain from anything. As a matter of fact, I haven't had any coffee or tea or anything, which I do advocate for on fast for people. But I've gotten to the point where I don't think I need it anymore. I've gotten pretty keto adapted, as they say. And so the only calories I've introduced into my body are from the lemon and lime juice that I put into the water, which adds probably 15 or 20 calories, total for the day. Maybe I'm not really sure. I haven't really looked into it, how much I'm using versus how many calories it is. But the potassium that I'm getting from it greatly relieves any discomfort that I may feel. And really, I don't feel any discomfort. I will say in the mornings, I do wake up with a feeling of bleh now, and that comes on typically on the days 4 and 5. And as soon as I have my glass of water with lime juice or lemon, I'm using lemons this year, but you can lemon or lime is fine. I feel great. Take my vitamin, and I've been feeling great almost immediately right after doing that. And just another glass around lunchtime, and then just drink regular water throughout the day. Smart water is a good option when you're out because it has electrolytes in it, so keep that in mind. Also, I want to talk about a couple of the different items that I use on a fast. I also did a video on this last year in my 2018 fast when I did 26 days. So I'm not new at this by any means, but for people that are considering doing fasting, first off, come join our Facebook group, Fasting for Weight Loss and Health Benefits. That's the name of the group, Fasting for Weight Loss and Health Benefits. And also have a Facebook page, The Fasting Life. Come over there and I post some stuff on there as well. And also I do consulting and fasting retreats too. Just send me a message on Facebook for now or come at me through the website, thefastinglife.com. There's also a website. I'm still developing that. But there is a webinar over there that you can watch with some more information on fasting. So I invite you over there to thefastinglife.com. But whenever I'm doing a fast, a couple of the items that I basically what you need for a fast, basically your water with lemon and lime juice, or I should say lemon or lime juice, and your salt. Recommend pink Himalayan salt. And then for tracking and fasts, if you want to do measurements, things like that, your basic body tape right here that you can buy in a store, probably for a few bucks right there. And so you have that on hand. This little device here is pretty neat here. This is a body fat measuring tool. You can get this thing on Amazon for like $30. You'll see these in fitness, in gyms too. So basically just hold this thing out right here, hit the button, 10 seconds later it gives your body fat percentage, and it's very accurate. I have a scale that has body fat percent measuring, and it's all over the place. But the scale's about 10 years old. Maybe the newer ones are better, but you can get bathroom scales that do the same thing. But the one I have isn't very good, so I didn't try it again. So, but if you got a good one that works, that's great. This right here, keto strips. You can get these at any grocery store. They're about 20 bucks, and there's 50 of them in here. You pee on these, and if it turns bright, or I should say a dark purple color, so that means you're in ketosis. So I like to use those up and what I've done, because I've done a number of fasts now. Typically ketosis for me shows up on day 3, somewhere on day 3. And from there on out, the body has switched from glucose into fat burning, and it's all fat loss from there. After the fast is over, 5% or so of it will be muscle loss. The water weight that you lose, which is for me anywhere between 5 and 7 pounds, comes back, but then there is the fat loss. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that here in just a minute, but I'll go over a couple other things that I'm doing. Another thing that I'm doing different on this fast, first time, well, that's not the first time I've used these, but it's the first time I've done it on a fast. A couple of injectables that I use here. This is B12 shots right here, and this is another product that I also get. It's called Trim Complete. It's all the B vitamins. It's got choline, thiamine, riboflavin, and a bunch of things I can't pronounce on there. But anyways, you can get those at telewellnessmd.com. You can get a lot of different stuff. I will say they're not cheap. So that's why I don't do these things year round. They are not cheap. I don't like to take B12 orally. I think the stomach acid breaks a lot of that down. I think injectables of anything, if it's good for you, is the best way to take it. It goes right into the bloodstream, and your body's digestive system doesn't break it down. So that's I think the best way to do it. I mean, a B12 shot, if you go into a clinic, is like $30. So I mean, stuff isn't cheap. So get yourself a needle. This is probably scare a lot of people here because the needle's kind of long, but it doesn't bother me to give myself a shot. So basically, just put it in my thigh, push until you start to feel it break the skin, and then once it breaks the skin, push it on. You don't even feel it. So it's not. It's less pain than even somebody pinching you. It's not that bad. If it bothers you to do it yourself, of course, get somebody to help you with it. And so I'm doing those to help keep my energy up, and so that's something I didn't do last year that I'm doing this year. So I'm doing, and both of these again, I'm getting them at Telewellness. You do have to do a phone consultation with a doctor, but basically they just ask you a handful of questions. Really what it is it's a sales call. They're trying to get you to come in there and subscribe to their weight loss program, but just answer their questions and they'll give you the prescription to order whatever you want in terms of supplementation. And don't go crazy with it. I don't think you need a lot of that stuff, but the B12 and this Trim Complete product here, I use this a couple times throughout the year. I'm using it now on the fast. A little bit ago I was talking about the weight loss that you get from the fast, and I was talking about how at the end of a fast 5% of what you lose is muscle. Most of the muscle weight is lost up front because when the body goes in, starts running out of glucose, it switches over to its proteins to continue making its glucose, because the brain does require glucose to survive, but it also learns to run off of ketones and beta-hydroxybutyrate, which enables the body to keep functioning. But then it switches into full ketosis mode, and very little of what the body is burning is proteins. It doesn't make sense for the people that say that you burn muscle, and I've talked about this a number of times, because fat is there for a reason. It's our energy reserves. Our muscle is there to help us survive, hunt, and get food. So why would the body break down its muscle when there's a food, or a lack of food out there? So it just doesn't make sense. But the point I wanted to make in this video is that when you're in ketosis, or whenever you're losing weight, period, the average individual loses 0.5 to 0.7 pounds per day just doing normal daily exercises. No diet changes that, no meal plan changes that, no supplements change that. That's one of the weight loss scams that are out there. They try to insinuate that somehow that they're going to increase that amount. Whatever your basal metabolic rate is what you're going to lose, and the supplements and all that stuff isn't going to increase that. I'm using them to help me just feel better and help my normal bodily functions, but 0.5 to 0.7 pounds per day. And again, no diet, no diet or no supplements change that. The only way you can increase that is to do more exertion, more exercise, to burn more. And then yes, you can burn more fat per day, but when you're in a fast, you don't want to be exercising a lot. And this brings me to the point about you see all these weight loss clinics lose 10 pounds in your first week, and it drives me crazy, because yes, you're going to lose 10 pounds your first week. It's going to be mostly water weight, and you hear people bragging all the time about, hey man, I dropped 10 pounds this week, and you're like, and I want to tell them, I was like, listen, that's water weight. Yeah, you're not eating carbs. It's going to come back as soon as you start slacking and you go out there and have a bowl of pasta. It's not going to stick. The fat is going to come off slowly. So either you fast, you learn the keto diet, or you just exercise a lot more than what you're eating, or you've got to create some type of caloric deficit. And I'm not saying fasting is the only way to do it. It's the way that works best for me, and I've talked about why in a number of videos. But again, I talked about this briefly in one of my videos last year, in my early 30s, I went to a weight loss clinic and went through the intake procedure, and then they prescribed me all these supplements and pills and injectables. And I mean, I had to like take, a day or two to absorb all the information and know what I was supposed to be taking. There was, morning, midday, and dinner. I was like, man, I still have a whole cabinet full of these pills and things that I never took. And I told him, I said, man, this is just too much. I said, I just don't believe what you're talking about. And even at the end of the consult, they're like, oh, and you got to keep your calories to 500 calories a day. And that's when I looked at him. I said, if I'm only going to eat 500 calories a day, I'm just not going to eat. And I'm going to go lose weight. And plus, if I'm only eating 500 calories a day, I'm going to lose weight. I don't need all of this stuff. So again, don't be drawn in by all these weight loss clinics and all these crazy supplements. It is a big scam out there. Don't do it. And again, I can help guide you through fasting. I consult with people, just give you tips, advice, help you create a plan, a fasting plan, intermittent fasting plan, the keto diet, which I understand. I don't do it. I don't like the keto diet. It's just a hard diet to follow. But today I was at 205 pounds. I'm down 14 pounds from 219 there, and last Friday. Waist 42, so I've lost an inch off of my waist. But again, just 1 week. Don't notice a huge difference in body composition just yet. And really, even at the end of the fast, this is something I noticed at the end of my fast last year. If you've watched my videos from last year, you probably noticed I look a lot different. And at the end of the fast last year, I didn't all of a sudden just look like this. The results and the changes that I initiated inside the body continued after the completion of the fast. So 1 month, 2 months later, I started to look different facially. And it wasn't because I was fasting. I didn't fast again for a couple of months after that. So nothing. And so again, basically I got a facelift from the fast for free, where people are paying tens to $50,000 for cosmetic procedures. The best facelift you can give yourself is a long extended fast. The actual duration that you need, I don't know, but 26 days did it for me last year. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to message me on Facebook. I'm very responsive, very friendly. I'm happy to answer any questions, any concerns. If anything I said, you didn't quite understand, or you think I'm crazy for saying it, by all means, I'm happy to discuss it with you. And feel free, please join our Facebook group, Fasting for Weight Loss and Health Benefits. And my page, please like it if you would, The Fasting Life. And that's also my website, thefastinglife.com. Over there's a link to a webinar where I talk a little bit more about some of the myths and some of the things that you need to know about fasting. So again, thank you for watching day 8 of my 28-day fast for 2019, and I'll see you on the next video.